During a human lifetime, immense works cannot be accomplished, but the march toward progress can be revived under a regenerating breath. In the period of a world's decline, reforming thought arises suddenly, like the vast horizon that, when the clouds part, is revealed before our eyes. The human mission of Jesus had prepared the horizon that now, under his divine manifestation, is revealed to the eyes of earthly humanity, and his voice, in the fullness of its power, will make disappear all the shadows that darkened his alliance with God and with humankind. The Messiah is telling us something that will shake our consciences, because he is affirming that during a human lifetime, immense works cannot be accomplished. And yet, up to this moment, we can clearly see that he has been speaking to us through his divine clouds of light knowledge, making it unmistakable that he is now in our midst. No longer as the man Jesus, because that human form was circumstantial and necessary for a spiritual being to incarnate in material worlds such as earth. In the same way, in order to fulfill the law of incarnation and complete the mission entrusted to him, he was born naturally as an infant, for before the Father we are all equal in our divine essence. Now he speaks to us as a Spirit of God, and with his presence here he shows us that he left his body hanging on the cross, and that his divine essence, his soul, his spirit, his very being resurrected as a spiritual being. That is why he left his body on the cross and returned to the spiritual kingdom, to resume his state of purity as the Messiah, as a Spirit of God. We must understand that the immense work entrusted to him guiding humanity toward its spiritual freedom, helping all to overcome the dangers and errors produced by human defects that keep souls repeating lives endlessly in painful experiences, cannot be said to have been finished with the sacrifice of his life, nor can it be said that it was completed in his 3 years of teachings and that he had nothing more to do. For it is the immense work of the Father for all humanity. This means that he will continue to guide, support, and illuminate our spiritual lives for many centuries to come, until the billions of spiritual beings that form part of the evolutionary march of the planet reach a higher level of spiritual consciousness, thus fulfilling the immense work entrusted to him, which requires immense efforts carried out by the universal fraternity, by the Messianic fraternity. Then he tells us, but the march toward progress can be revived under a regenerating breath. He is telling us that he has returned to continue the immense work entrusted to him, and that he has come with a regenerating breath to continue impelling the regeneration of our lives, that is, to transform our current states of knowledge, which are far too materialized, illuminate us with the light he brings from the Father, and raise us toward unity with God, loving him above all things. He adds that in the period of a world's decline, reforming thought arises suddenly, like the vast horizon that, when the clouds part, is revealed before our eyes. He is expressing the divine vision he receives from the Father, that this world, earth, is in decline. We already know of its ecological defects, the contamination of environmental elements, the damage to the atmospheric energy layers that protect the planet, the loss of human values, and the harmful actions of many that draw souls away from their spiritual development. For this reason he has returned with the reforming thought, which is like a regenerating breath, filled with divine teachings he brings from the Father like clouds to regenerate all the ideas and concepts that darkened his doctrine of love and brotherhood due to the first religious ministers. He clarifies to us that historians interpreted that the Messiah would send a reformer, but this reformer is not someone who must be sent, nor as human religions interpreted a comforter who must appear to regenerate human thought. Rather, it is the reforming thought of the Father, manifested through the soul of the Messiah, and as a Spirit of God, he receives it and reveals it before the eyes of humanity, because it is the immense work he freely committed himself to fulfill. He tells us, the human mission of Jesus had prepared the horizon that now, under his divine manifestation, is revealed to the eyes of earthly humanity. He is telling us that the man Jesus prepared a horizon, assuring us that all the teachings of Jesus carried a vision for future humanity. And that horizon is being fulfilled now through his divine manifestation, made evident before our eyes, because each one of us forms part of earthly humanity. And his voice, now in the fullness of its power, reaches our hearts and will make disappear all the shadows that darkened his alliance with God and humankind. In the video Messiah 02 he already told us that if you truly feel and listen to his voice. We now understand that this means feeling his voice within our souls, allowing the regenerating breath of light knowledge energies to illuminate and renew every spiritual concept that was misunderstood by historians, concepts that darkened his alliance with God and gave his teachings a direction opposite to what Jesus intended, as mentioned in the video Universal Religion 02 Messiah. Once we are loving the Father through our problems, our work, the tasks of daily life, our families, and friendships, then with his voice in all its power, with all the strength of fraternal love, he will illuminate our spirits and will make disappear all the shadows that darkened his alliance with God and with each one of us. The Messiah will give us all the knowledge needed to cleanse the darkness produced by religious ministers who interpreted his teachings from their own personalities, without listening to his voice, and who claimed that what they wrote came from divine inspiration. Yet we now know that all communication with our Father occurs only through the language of the soul throughout the infinite creation. The Messiah is the highest of all Messiahs to come to earth, the only one sent by the Father for the immense work entrusted to him. The law of spiritual hierarchy grants this being of purity the elevation given to all spiritual beings of his order, the mission of guiding humanities. His teachings, guidance, suggestions, and indications led us toward the future to transform and cleanse our spiritual knowledge of darkness and to walk toward the ethereal realm of light and joy.